Cat countdown. We're at T-6. I've finished editing the behind the scenes for orientation into the entire ecosystem, including the thematic clusters, the islands that are now live on the front page of the repository. They've been there in the talk section for a while. Groupings of what are now 34 series to help people find their bearings: kernel, basic, retro, and the rest of it. So I recalled the What You Say series, which is basically geared for questions and initially was recorded last November as a trigger for more engagement when the audiences are dead silent. Then again, as I roll out the 5 EPs, I find that there is basically that one person engaging who's been engaging all the while with the rest of it anyways, and people do not really care, like, at all. I'm not sure if they just bypass from the get-go. There are clearly people who watch all the way through, but zip, there's nothing. Ask a question. No one has anything to say, or perhaps these are simply matters that no one really wants to attend to, because they are consequential. Questions are consequential. Perspectives you take, the windows you look through, are not idle. What you have seen is hard to unsee, and as such it's easier to avoid. And with this avoidant tendency, trying to craft more strategies in overt expression, in whatever rhetoric devices, framings, is rather moot. What needs to happen is the subject's willingness to unveil from the get-go, and only life will pound us into that point. At some point I find that people who have suffered their lot, who have been ground in the gears of life, who have seen what matters and what doesn't, they are more inclined to look deeper into what matters. Be that as it may, I do my thing without expecting a particular response, and all of this is rolling into the Internet Archive for a legacy stash, original or low compression source files for whoever that may want to take all of this, reuse it for whatever that it's worth. I will also provide text files in a convenient format in case someone wants to feed it all into the AI and see what comes. PDFs and subs are already there, just the plain text format is a bridge I haven't crossed yet. It's a non-brainer, just need to render and commit. So that's all there. I may or may not at some point feed all of this myself into AI and have it churn through agentic chains, a mesh of agents. Some vectors, spins, sigils, subliminal, whatever, broadcast through alternative channels, basically just implantings into the collective mind, the sorts of subtle vectors that are all over our media, largely unseen, the programming that happens. We can all do that, right? It's not a massive nuclear science thing. With how readily people gobble up all sorts, then whatever that you embed, then it all sinks in. Simply the tides need to shift. We don't have enough counter signals, counter pings in the currents of the mainstream. Therefore, it's all gravitating wrong ways. If ever that happens, I know not. And the wrap-up itself, the countdown, T-6, T- whatever. So there's a basic layout to what's rolling out, and with the ominous undertones If anyone pays attention, then good for them, and if not, then I've had my humors. Gotta drop that bullshit prophecy bar at the end of every end of cycle, right? Said Mr. Elderflower C to Wizard G. And indeed, yeah, that is the way, right? It's a necessary game. And also the anticipation of the unknown. It does create certain triggers and ripples in the lower crown, in your cranium, subconsciously figuring out what's coming, what's happening, disclosure, revelation, it's all the same shit. Rumors of wars and calamities, it's all the same shit. It's there to open your anticipation into what comes, and by that open a certain thread of alignment, the potential of the destruction of the old order, the renewal of your mind, etc. So it's all in necessary legends, myths and games of conscious evolution. The veils clearly are so very thick. The saturation of noise is significant, and the signal to noise ratio is, in today's landscape, online and otherwise, the proliferation of controlled, designed noise is near absolute. Signal insignificant, actual, coherent, convergent, capable signal, practically non-existent signal to noise ratio, not there. And the whole of the landscape is dominated by that false convergence, basically toward tunnels into silos where consciousness is sapped for profit. And that's where people gravitate. Even if they catch a couple of blips of signal for whatever good beacons out there, still when 90% of what they watch is on the spectrum of brain rot or tangential interests, not the fulfillment, reconciliation of life and all things, of truth, removal of cognitive distortion, etc., these sorts of things, when they are not anywhere in the upper sector of attention, then downward they gravitate. You're either 50% up or you're going downward. That's the simple tides of our times, division of the sheep and the whatever black goats, right? Handled by the algorithm, and alas, how much there is traffic downward. Decay, as it happens, right? Nature's order. And there are indeed plenty of very entertaining prophecies encoding the cycles of time from the Puranas, from Revelation, from whatever other millennial apocalyptic classics. But that's not something to gloss here. Plenty enough glossed in the existing loom of content, and that shall be the measure of that. The threads are all there, the relations are all there. I will be drawing the mesh clearer in terms of associativity in times to come, as I get around to it. But for anyone with their organic inner receptors halfway tuned the radar online, they will find it without me or anyone spelling it out. If they want. Those who want to see, they will see. Those who do not, they will be veiled, and wherever that the veil takes them. The loom or the veil. Simple. So, that's a wrap.